Pretty Poison is, of course, the introduction of a new supervillain, that being Poison Ivy. This episode is more consistent with the quality of the rest of the series compared to previous episodes, and is the best one so far. Pretty Poison begins with a flashback where Harvey Dent has sponsored the building of Stonegate Penitentiary to help make a better, safer Gotham, quote. The building of Stonegate wipes out a rare rose, which leads to Poison Ivy trying to exact vengeance on Harvey Dent. After the flashback, there's a great scene where Batman apprehends an escapee from Stonegate, as Harvey's on a date with Pamela Isley at the Rose Cafe, and telling her about Bruce as he's seen in a more public light. As Batman takes down the prisoner, we get a memorable line, "I'm your worst nightmare." The way this series portrays the public Bruce Wayne is noticeably different than in the comics. In Batman the Animated Series, he has a reputation of a jet-setting playboy, but that he's very generous. In the comics, his public persona is even more contrary to Batman, since he pretends to be aloof with other people so no one suspects that he has the smarts and the determination to be Batman. This is not a complaint, but just an interesting difference. Another difference in Batman the Animated Series is that Harvey Dent is old friends with Bruce Wayne and does not interact with Batman too much. In the comics, it's almost the opposite, where Harvey Dent forms a triad with Gordon and Batman, and he doesn't think much of Bruce Wayne. Getting back to the episode, Pamela Isley is seducing Harvey Dent, and they are even engaged after dating for only a week so she can poison him with a lethal toxin from the last of the extinct rose. I'm glad that the whole engagement thing is glossed over quickly by having Harvey fall ill right after Pamela leaves, so there can be more intensity to the situation instead of having to do the standard mind control plot. Harvey is put into the hospital, where a doctor says he won't survive if he doesn't receive the antidote soon. The situation gets dire as Batman investigates that there is no cure since the rose the poison is derived from is extinct, save the one Poison Ivy has unbeknownst to Batman. Alfred is quite useful this episode as he looks up the information on the extinct rose and on Pamela Isley once Bruce starts to suspect that her kiss may have been the cause of Harvey's affliction. I also love Alfred at the beginning of the episode before Bruce goes to the Rose Cafe and recommends for him a great dish. Even as things are getting bad, there's a superb touch of comedy as Bullock interrogates the workers at the Rose Cafe as the scene cuts directly to him shouting at the chef, "So what did you put in this mousse?" Batman goes to confront Pamela when her mutated plants capture him, and she reveals her villain persona, Poison Ivy. She's well handled for the most part, and I can even understand why she would be angry, since Stonegate didn't really change Gotham at all to make it a better place, seeing as how the first time we see it since it's been built, someone is trying to escape by helicopter. I found Poison Ivy to be more fun to watch than Scarecrow and Nothing to Fear, since she has more of a personality, but since it's also interesting that in recent years, Poison Ivy has evolved since her appearance in this episode, and has become more in union with her plants than in this episode, where she has an obsession with them. She has almost become a plant-type creature herself, now having green skin. Anyway, the voice actress Diane Pershing does a good job with the role of Poison Ivy, though in parts of her speech at Batman she sounds a bit new to voice acting, and a few lines are delivered poorly, especially when Poison Ivy gets mad. That being said, in later episodes Diane Pershing sounds more confident in the role, and the voice is perfected. One small complaint I have with Poison Ivy in this episode is that she seems to care a lot about that last rose. She even has it in her cell in prison and refers to it as her baby. I would expect her to have it, but in later episodes it's nowhere to be found, and the rose is never even mentioned again. This is not important as a standalone episode, but Poison Ivy made such a big deal out of it, I'd expect her to hang on to it. Batman is also poisoned by her kiss. He fights her mutated Flytrap and her, which leads to the garden inadvertently catching fire. Batman exploits Poison Ivy's weakness by bargaining the rose for the antidote, which he uses to save Harvey Dent. This is a very engaging episode since Batman has to save someone that is one of his oldest friends, which raises the stakes. The ticking time bomb is a great device for a story, which really gets the viewer invested in the plot points. Pretty Poison takes place over a short time span of one night, an assumption based on the fact that Batman apprehends the escapee we never see the daytime. Thinking about it, Batman has had a very busy night, stopping a jailbreak, going to dinner, going to the hospital, investigating the poison, investigating Pamela Isley, apprehending Poison Ivy, and taking the cure to the hospital. This episode is extremely well animated. The first half of the episode doesn't look so special, But the second half, once Batman arrives at Poison Ivy's hideout, looks spectacular, where Batman and Poison Ivy are drawn great. The animation, especially on the mutated Flytrap, is fluid, and the final action sequence is very well executed. Pretty Poison is overall an exceptional episode of Batman the Animated Series, and is just shy of being one of the greats, but not quite there. It has an engaging plot and is one of the best looking episodes that the first box set has to offer. It is my favorite of the episodes I reviewed up to now, so I give Pretty Poison the just shy of perfect score, which is a 4.5 out of 5. Like always, thanks for tuning in, and I hope you'll tune in next week for a review of The Underdwellers, which is an episode that I have a personal history with, so we'll get to that. So see you then, of course.